to you. They move right through you, just like your breath. But sometimes I still think of you, and I just wanted you to know, my old friend. I swear I never meant for this. I never meant to walk at me that way. It was an honest mistake. Don't look at me that way. It was an honest mistake. Honest mistake. Sometimes I forget I'm still awake. I fuck up and say these things out loud. My old friends, I swear I never meant for this. I never meant. Don't look at me that way. It was an honest mistake. Don't look at me that way. It was an honest mistake. Don't look at me that way. It was an honest mistake. Don't look at me that way. It was an honest mistake. Honest mistake.
Yeah, you get a thank you. You get a very, very sincere thank you. All right. I mean, I do this for the likes, people. It's free. I mean, like, subscribe, share. You know what I'm saying over here? Do you know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. Nobody knows. All right. So, anything going on? What's going on? Let's see. Check the weather. Oh,
most communities today. Yesterday we hit 93 degrees. It was still very warm. The average for this time of year for Los Angeles downtown area, about 84. The record was 102 degrees back in 1972, so well away from the record. So that's the daily record. But we are looking at a
my problem is that I need a weather girl. So do you know a weather girl? Do you have anybody? Scared the shit out of me. Fucking cat toy. Damn cat toys. Um,
South Bay, but most of the clouds are being pushed into, it looks like, Rancho Palos Verdes and then Palos Verdes, and then moving into areas of Long Beach, Seal Beach, maybe a little bit of that moving into Huntington. So there's some cloud coverage, but most of us are dealing with some pretty clear skies, and most of those clouds are just off the coastline. So still a nice morning start. We have high pressure that has moved over, way over towards Texas. It is away from us now, and it has weakened quite a bit thanks to this big area of low pressure, this mid-latitude cyclone. We often see big areas of low pressure like this during our winter months, but this one's arriving early. It's bringing in some rainfall for areas of Oregon, Washington. There it is. And that's going to create opportunities for cooling into Portland, only 65 degrees as we get into tomorrow. Now, with the center of the low up here, our trough is down here, move southbound into our direction. So this nice cool air gets to sink down into this trough. And so our temperatures are being pushed down about 78.
it's called weather, Charlie. You don't know what weather is? All right. I need to know what the weather is so that I can plan my schedule. Stupid. And so that I can, look at the pretty weather girls. What are you guys up to, huh? Oh, there's nothing going on. I'm a victim. Everyone's just covering the DNC. And the DNC is bullshit. Fucking bullshit. You mean stop simping? Does that mean like stop simping? Stop frapping to weather girls? Frapping? I don't know what frapping is. I made a collection of Peeps from Peeps art. Interesting going on. Oh, another stolen vehicle pursuit. Great. Oh, then no. Sorry. No promises, Charlie. No promises. I don't know why these videos keep showing up on my feed, but I want to try this.
Just gonna come right in here. Go ahead, nice deep breath in. All the way out.
Wow.
Wow. That was incredible.
That was insane.
Let's come down into me. And just let this run. Beautiful. Wow. Just let this go. Beautiful. That was awesome. All the way out. Just let the body relax for me.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Remember the level you pulled last time? Mm-hmm. Maybe just a notch or two more than that.
Oh yeah, man. That was weak.
Look at his waist. It's right there.
So just keep your teeth together, but don't clench. And just breathe through your nose. Yeah, that's good. Oh, jeez. Oh.
Jesus. Oh my God. All right. So is it on your channel? It's on your channel. Let's see. There's nothing here. I'm a subscribe, but you don't get any notifications, Charlie. Where's the link? What other page? God damn. Is it on Troll Central? Did you post it in there? Well, how do I find your other page, Charlie? God damn it. Think, man, think.
There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He's told.
This customer's shower was draining slowly, and when I pulled the drain grate off, this is.
That was no DJ, that was hazy cosmic time. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He's told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me, let the children use it, let the children use it, let all the children do.
Just sometimes.
Surprise, surprise.
There are 4 characters in the
Charlie Cheese Productions? Cheese Production. Damn it. You see? You see the things I do? Charlie Cheese Productions. All right. I think I can show this. These are NFTs? What is this? Are you sure? Because Brett's going to try to sue you. Brett's going to try to sue you for his likeness. That's a good one. This is inappropriate, Charlie. This is inappropriate. This could happen. This might be foreshadowing. Is this Daisy? She's flaunting her spam. She's like, what? I got 5 cans of spam, bitches. How many cans of spam do you have? Huh? inappropriate ones are from Spoonie. Spoonie. Oh, Spoonie. Oh, Spoonie. Ah, spam is nasty. I know. You're right. It is. All right. So, is there anything going on? Let's see. No, not notifications. Onse DNC convention.
Over this, if you can.
On behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
Am I the only one who thinks this is 2006? Like 2.0? You guys not see that this is Hillary 2? You guys don't see that? No?
On behalf
I'm letting you in.
I love this kid. I love him. He is amazing. Anyone who makes fun of him is an asshole. What's wrong with you, Ann Coulter?
Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware about Project 2025 and former President Trump.
He has, with his friends, said the quiet parts out loud, but not only said them out loud, he wrote a book about it. What's it called? Project 2025.
That is false. Trump did not write Project 2025. The project's big policy document published by the Heritage Foundation think tank lists dozens of people as authors, editors, contributors. Donald Trump is not among them. Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware about Project 2025 and former President Trump.
He has, with his friends,
I want to make this a parade, not a protest. Come on, come on. That's it. We want to be with y'all for real. So I took my helmet off and laid the batons down. I want to make this a parade, not a protest. Come on, come on. That's it. You got little ones here, you got dogs, so what's up? So listen, I'm just telling you, these cops love you. That cop over there hugs people, so you tell us what you need to do. Walk with us! 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 Let's walk with us! Let's walk!
Eventually, hey guys, Crystal here, and some big news. I made it to Chicago. Eventually, I was able to get on a flight, get here yesterday afternoon, was able to make it over to the convention center and see what was going on there and all that good stuff. Got a few interviews. Before I forget, tonight, all four of us are planning to live stream the entire DNC primetime and do, sort of like the networks do, like react in between the big speeches and do that all live this evening. So tech God's willing, that is the plan for this evening, which should be really fun, and really excited to be actually in the studio with everybody and getting to react in real time to whatever unfolds this evening. Okay, so wanted to give you my overall reaction to day 3 of the DNC top line for a variety of reasons. I think this was the worst day for the Democrats, both in terms of, I think it was the least compelling and persuasive, even though I did think Governor Tim Walz did a great job in his speech, and there were some moving moments there. A lot of the class and economic pieces that had been emphasized, especially on day 1, were largely missing from the lineup last night. You had Oprah in the mix, who was just, sort of talking standard things about the character of the individual. Bill Clinton doing his Bill Clinton thing. So that's kind of, the TLDR of my overall take. And of course, hanging over all of this is, while Democrats very want to portray this atmosphere of joy and electric energy and a dance party, meanwhile, you have our taxpayer dollars continuing to go from the Biden-Harris administration to ship bombs to blow up babies in the Gaza Strip. And the dissonance between those two things has never been more on display than it was yesterday. So you started off with Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, who's himself Muslim American, speaking, and this was sort of telegraphed to the uncommitted movement and others as like, this is going to be your guy. He's gonna say that, some things that you're going to like to hear. So he gets up there and reassures everyone that, quote unquote, Kamala and Tim are listening to you. Now, I actually was able to grab an interview with Keith Ellison yesterday in the hallway. It was before I knew he had said this particular thing, but I asked him about the uncommitted movement. I asked him about their very basic request to have a Palestinian American speaker on the stage at the DNC, and he really sort of, dodged the question, et cetera. But we'll try to play that for you this evening. But here is in part what Attorney General Keith Ellison had to say yesterday.
Kamala and Tim, they fight for the people, and they also listen. And when they say we need a ceasefire and an end to the loss of innocent lives in Gaza and to bring hostages home, they're listening, friends. They agree with us. There are people watching tonight, and maybe even here tonight, who aren't sure yet about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. If you want to know where they stand on some of the most urgent issues facing our country and the world, let me assure you, Kamala and Tim hear you. They listen, they care, and everyone is included in their circle of compassion.
Everyone is included in their circle of compassion. They hear you, they're listening to you. Well, it was shortly after this speech that the uncommitted movement got the official word that, in fact, perhaps that circle of compassion isn't as large as one may hope. So uncommitted movement, this came out of the Biden primaries. There was an effort in states like Minnesota, Michigan, and others to vote uncommitted instead of voting for Joe Biden as a way of putting pressure on him to improve his policy and end the genocide. As a result of that movement, a number of delegates were actually elected uncommitted delegates. And so they have been organizing a pressure campaign within the DNC. Now, ultimately, of course, they want the bombs to stop. They want us to stop funding and supporting this genocide. And of course, for there to be a ceasefire and a lasting peace. But with regard to the DNC, these are all Democrats. They want to be able to support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And their demands at the DNC were actually very, very modest. In particular, they wanted a Palestinian American to be able to speak. Now, if you're watching the DNC, they have found time for every Tom, Dick, and Harry with a D by their name across the country, the front benchers, the back benchers, the middle benchers, the rising stars, the old fading stars, everyone, whether it's in a primetime slot or somewhere else during the day. It is a gigantic list of speakers. So the idea that you don't have time for a single Palestinian American to give voice to how they're viewing the struggle is outrageous. And again, very reasonable ask that they made here, because they didn't even say it has to be this speaker. They said, we've got a list for you. And if you don't like who's on this list, suggest someone else, or we can make a longer list. They said, we will let you vet the speech. So you're going to know in advance what they have to say so that you can make sure you're okay with it. And yet yesterday evening, they got the official word. This is from Prem Thakur. Under the lights of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, Uncommitted Movement officially announces the DNC has said no to welcoming a Palestinian voice on the stage. Uncommitted co-lead says Vice President Harris unfortunately has made the decision that the child in me, the American child in me, who was certain my own government was going to kill me, is not going to get to be heard at this convention. He goes on and says that he will sit in protest. I just intend to stay here until I get a call from the DNC telling me they won't suppress the voices of Palestinian children, that they will accept our very humble request. That sit-in has garnered a good bit of support. I know Ilhan Omar, Cori Bush, and even AOC called in, perhaps feeling badly about her comments from her speech and the backlash over that, assuring us Kamala's working ceaselessly for a ceasefire, tirelessly, day and night, et cetera, et cetera. So this has gained quite a bit of traction, but I mean, it says everything that they can't even find 5 minutes to allow Palestinians to speak for themselves, to explain, to humanize themselves. You had the family members of a hostage speak very movingly yesterday at the DNC, including a call for peace, including a call to end the violence against innocent but they look at the uncommitted delegates and the protest movement, et cetera, and having to be faced with these atrocities as very uncomfortable. It ruins their party. And so Breakthrough News caught this video, or took this video of DNC attendees who are leaving, and there are protesters who are calling out the names of Palestinian children who have been murdered, and they're all covering their ears. Let me play this for you.
The Democrats are funding war crimes, and when people are calling them out, they are literally sticking their ears in their ears so that they don't have to listen to it. Is that funny?
13 years old.
Say it again. Say it again. Mark them again. Mark the children again. Do it again. Do it again.
18 years old. 15 years old. Yusuf Hassan. 8 years old. Turn around and join the uncommitted delegates in the protest.
So it's like physically uncomfortable for these DNC attendees to be faced with the reality of what their government and a Democratic administration is doing. And in real time, their physical expression of that is to plug their ears. They just want the party to continue and not to have anything ugly intrude on it. And what could be uglier than a genocide that our government is funding and shipping the bombs for, and has allowed not just.
So does that make it all right, Nancy? Or should we just continue funding it? Should we continue funding a genocide? All right. Well, so nuts. You think that Trump is going to win? You think that I don't know, man. I don't want Trump to win, but to me, this all seems very 2016, where people are just like they're doubling down on a terrible candidate, and they're not remembering that, you know, besides non-voters, the largest voting bloc is independents, and I don't think independents are gonna. I don't know. I guess we'll see. What's this? Wow, she's cute. Hello. Hello.
Fake news said my personality would get us into a war. I'm telling you, that guy's going to get us into a war. But actually, my personality is what kept us out of war. As I walk through the valley of the sun. Fake news said my personality.
She's cute. Can I vote for her? Can I vote for her? Can I just vote for her?
If you haven't exercised in years, try this at home. I've created.
Welcome back to the Hill's live coverage of the DNC of Kamala Harris's speech, which we just heard. I'm Robbie Suave, host of Rising, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jessica Burbank. So let's get into it.
Is that their audio? That's their audio, huh?
I think Kamala Harris did a smart thing by not talking way too long. We've all been up way too late these last several nights, and the criticism of Donald Trump at the RNC was that it went on and on and on forever. So smart to be brief. And look, I will admit that while I'm not fan of her or her policies, I think she did an effective job. In the past, where she's really struggled in terms of speaking is off the cuff answering questions. She tends to talk in these kind of vague, almost philosophical statements that have gotten mocked. This was just reading a speech from a teleprompter, which is not so difficult, but she did it well. She brought enough energy to it. It was mostly, autobiographical, which makes sense because not everyone knows who she is. They know she's the vice president, but she didn't have to run a campaign to get here. She was picked, as we've said in the last several weeks, to be the Democratic nominee. So I feel like it was a reintroduction that I can see playing well with independent and undecided voters.
Right. She opened the speech thanking her husband, Doug. It's their anniversary today. Someone said he is the epitome of wife guys. Can you imagine your wife wishing you an anniversary as she accepts the nomination for president? She then, like an AIM profile. I don't know if you have this technology, but
yes, I had an AIM profile.
Okay.
Jessica Burbank.
Did you in middle school
complete with Good Charlotte and My Chemical Romance lyrics as my way
music
yes.
and quotes? Okay, but we did a horrible
millennial.
thing.
Go ahead.
We ranked our friends like. Oh, so-and-so is my best friend. And then I will mention Natalie. And then
you don't even know what a MySpace top 8 is. We did that, but
she basically did that.
Anyway,
because she's like, thank you to my husband. Thank you to Joe Biden. Thank you to Jill Biden. Then the delegates and then her supporters. And so it felt like that, like a ranking in an AIM profile. But I think she did a good job telling her personal story. She talked.
Were they telling people they were racist for getting it wrong? That was funny. Hi, Queenie. How are you? How was your grandmother's funeral?
Good evening and welcome to a program devoted entirely to lefties losing it. Let's start, lefties, with this almighty group meltdown on CNN because Nancy Mace allegedly mispronounced Queen Kamala's name. Watch this demented carry-on.
And Kamala Harris, if I were
You said
I will say
Kamala.
what I want.
Kamala.
You're doing this on purpose.
Kamala.
That's disrespectful.
You can't expect people to respect
a man put on a skirt and walked that stage
25 years ago, she
You're a
would have
white
said
woman
it. She would have
disrespecting a
taken
black
that
woman. That is
achievement away from
problematic.
women.
Professor
That's
Dyson,
let me get in here because I want
Did you hear that? He said, you're a white woman disrespecting a black woman. Why? By calling her the name everyone has called her for years, decades. How long was she in public life before we were told that her name should be pronounced differently? And can someone alert the president because he's still pronouncing it this way?
My tax money is going to pay for the very people who attacked me. A group.
And Cam and I are here today to make a major announcement on reference to lower.
But back to the mass meltdown on.
I just think they're funny. They talk a lot of shit. It's kind of funny sometimes.
CNN, look at the reprehensible way they treat a lone conservative woman, a woman who carries the trauma of being a rape victim and who showed far more grace than I'd be capable of facing this barrage of lunacy.
When you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have
BS.
to intend racism
No,
to
no. You are
accomplish it.
intending that
Your
I'm
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that is
part and parcel of a
and
tradition
it's
of
wrong.
disrespect.
It's offensive,
Congresswoman,
and it's
why can't you
it's
just?
offensive. That
I'm
is
not calling you a
disgusting.
racist.
No,
I'm telling you what the practice is.
You are. You absolutely are.
No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor, she doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25
they
years
care
ago,
for your babies.
25
Just hysteria and hyperbole there. There's much more of that lefty losing it madness, but I won't subject you to it because this next bit is even better. Remember Don Lemon? Before CNN sacked him, he is back doing vox pops and being laughed at by the good folk in Jersey and Atlantic City. First, he tries to shame Trump backers by suggesting they're sexist.
Who do you support? Trump. I plead the fifth.
Trump for the win.
Tell me why.
I can't really call that right now, but I just feel like she's not good for president. She's good vice, but not for the actual lead role for the country.
Does it have anything to do with being a woman?
No. No, because I feel like women, nah, you're not going to give me that.
Your money's on Harris.
Yeah.
Who do you want?
Trump.
Why don't you like Harris?
Oh, she don't have any experience.
She's the vice president. She's a senator.
Yeah, no experience. No.
It doesn't get any better when Don talks to women.
All right. Well, it's 9:40. Oh, that's good tea. She's a skank? Who's a skank?
frankly, Trump.
It's not good for president.
Woman is, and if 25 years ago, I think 25.
There's much more of that lefty losing it madness, but I won't subject you to it because this next bit is even better. Remember Don Lemon before CNN sacked him? He's back doing vox pops and being laughed at by the good folk in Jersey and Atlantic City. First, he tries to shame Trump backers by suggesting they're sexist.
Who do you support?
Trump.
I plead the fifth.
Trump for the win.
Tell me why.
I can't really call that right now, but I just feel like she's not good for president. She's good vice, but not for the actual lead role for the country.
Does it have anything to do with being a woman?
No. No, because I feel like women, nah, you're not going to get me to that.
Your money's on Harris.
Yeah.
Who do you want?
Trump.
Why don't you like Harris?
She don't have any experience.
She's the vice president. She's a senator.
Yeah, no experience. No.
It doesn't get any better when Don talks to women.
Well, I want Donald Trump. I just feel we need somebody that has a stronger background with the military and the world in general.
She was a prosecutor and an attorney general and a senator and a vice president.
Is it there to learn what voters think or to lecture them about why Harris is better? This next interaction is frankly bonkers.
4 years ago, it was a lot better. I made a lot more money than I do now.
I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what the record shows. The economy is actually better under Biden. No, I'm serious. That's what the facts show.
Okay, you know what?
No.
Imagine telling a grown man he's wrong about being better off 4 years ago because Don's figures say so. No wonder they laughed in his face. That sort of form will see Don Lemon elevated to the lefty losing it Hall of Fame. And here's one last clip from his time in New Jersey.
Trump or Harris?
Trump.
That's who's going to win.
That's who's going to win.
Who you support?
I support Trump. All the people that came to this country legally, it's not fair that they're letting all 10,000 to 15,000 people or 20,000 people here illegally. Did you know Biden was flying them in?
I got to get out of Atlantic City. Where are we going to next?
Now, watch this totally authentic interaction between Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They won't do any interviews, but they will provide content like this. Here, Tim worries that his white guy tacos, his words, not mine, he worries that his white guy tacos won't be spicy enough for Kamala.
Like I have white guy tacos and
What is
like
that?
black,
Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's
and,
okay, dude.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise and tuna? Mayonnaise and tuna? That's racist, Kamala. That's racist.
Put any flavor in it?
No.
Oh.
Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, you know.
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand my food knowledge.
Oh dear. Now here is the real Kamala in the days before every word was carefully scripted. Now, I've heard her say some crazy things, but surely she would never snatch a patent.
I will snatch their patent so that we will take over. And yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. It's the question is, do you have the will to do it? I have the will to do it.
She's got the will, people. Watch out. How very communist of her. Now, back to CNN, and yes, they are among the Democrats' most enthusiastic propaganda outlets. Here they are telling the American people to forget about the high prices, the illegal immigration prices, crime.
The
Just feel the
prices.
joy. There's so much joy.
What
I
accent
think
is
Trump
this?
is jealous of the joy
Australian.
right now. There's so much
that's
anger
right.
coming from Trump's speeches. Joy is real and it's important. People can make fun of it and say focus on the policy. But if you ask political scientists and psychology professors, they'll tell you the emotions matter in politics.
Yes.
Sometimes they matter a lot more than the policies. And that's, I think, the big story this week.
Yes, Brian. If you ask political scientists and psychology professors, they'll tell you emotions matter. The Nazis knew that too. They love the joy message. Theirs was strength through joy. And their propaganda arms were just as enthusiastic about gaslighting the nation. And talking about gaslighting the nation, here is our own national broadcaster, the taxpayer-funded outlet that receives more than $1 billion of Australian taxpayer money every single year.
and just watch and marvel at this completely fair, balanced, and not at all hysterical rant from one of the ABC's highest paid journalists.
But Donald Trump poisoned American politics in a new way. He's clearly taken America to a dark place. Do you also hold him responsible for the dark place that he took your family to with the terrible attack on your husband in your home?
Yep, that was Sarah.
How is that? So now that was Trump's fault? Wow, that's crazy. I don't think that was Trump's fault, but okay.
Ferguson last week interviewing former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. The Trump derangement syndrome remains off the charts of the ABC, and Ferguson and her overpaid, underworked team seem to have learned nothing from their previous failures. Remember the three-part series we were treated to on the Trump-Russian collusion hoax? Yeah, they've learned nothing. Though Kamala refuses to do an interview, she did, for just a minute, answer a question without the benefit of an auto cue, and it did not go well. Here she is asked about how she plans to pay for these policies she's announcing. See if you can work out the phrase her advisors have clearly drilled into her head.
In terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great return on that investment. And when we increase home ownership in America, what that means in terms of increasing the tax base, not to mention property tax base, what that does to fund schools, again, return on investment. I think it's a mistake for any person who talks about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment.
No, this is not a dryer sheet.
Return on investment. In the full clip, she said it 4 times in about 40 seconds. It's like a kid cramming for an exam. Just keep repeating it until it sinks in. And the Democrats' National Convention has started and shops are boarded up.
Who's running us? And it's funny though, huh? It's almost like a Comedy Central skit, right?
Hassan's over there. I think we just missed him. Do we have a card? Yeah.
Yusuf Abu 7 years old. Ahmed Al-Alja, 11 years old. Noor Sharhoun, 11 years old. Ru'a Shaheen, 8 years old. Isra Abu Marzouk, 12 years old.
All right. So let's recap here. We're outside the entrance of the Democratic National Convention that just ended. The police just left, so the police just pulled back. There's been demonstrators out here kind of heckling the delegates, basically. And so a few delegates are still coming. So the convention just ended. And obviously, Palestine's been the major issue. As we've been hearing from people, it's really at the front and center of American politics right now. But earlier today, we were with the march that went around on the north side and moved back. There was a very large march, thousands of people. It was a large turnout. And then last night, we were at a noise demo just north of the North Loop, or north of the Loop. And we're outside of Kamala Harris's hotel. So there was a noise demo there. It got pushed down Michigan Avenue by the police. And then before that, there was another demo that went around here. Then on the second day, which was Tuesday, we had a noise demo outside the Salt Shed, which was a huge venue hosted by the Pritzkers. There was 120 state police and city police. Palestine demonstrators were doing noise demo stuff up and down. Similar to this, all the delegates had to go past the Salt Shed. So we have that video up on our social media. And so the Salt Shed was a good example of a small group of people having an impact that all the delegates could hear them. And then earlier that day on Tuesday, there was a major demonstration at the Israeli consulate downtown in the Accenture Tower, and that was about 70 arrests, and it kind of snakes through downtown. It was put on by Behind Enemy Lines, Samadoun, a couple other groups, and they didn't have a permit, and the police sort of chopped them up as they were.
What was the name of the motorcycle that Telly said? It was like, all right. Best beginner Should I buy a motorcycle? Should we crowdsource a motorcycle? How many people want to see me riding a motorcycle?
The fight stank 24/7.
So you're looking to get into the motorcycling world, but you're not super stoked on the sport bike life. Maybe you were picked last in gym class and now you resent anything with sporty athleticism. You'd prefer to cruise around town with your friends between the coffee shop and record store rather than drag.
That's it. You sure about that? CB350 Honda? Okay. Honda CB50. It's too small for me. That's too small. I need like a big motorcycle. Oh?
Dragging knee at the track or doing top speed pulls on the highway. Maybe you've already picked out your 3/4 helmet and vintage inspired riding jacket and you want
is a motorcycle so I can, I don't have to drive through traffic and I can, ride into the sunset. No. This is the reason why I haven't gotten one already, because of my daughter, because I feel like it's irresponsible, but I want one. Garrett.
Want to get a motorcycle?
Just admit that you're jelly roll.
That reflects your classic aesthetic and lifestyle. You want a more laid-back motorcycling experience, prioritizing the joy of the ride and the thirst for adventure. New riders who are flirting with the cruiser life are often too cool and disinterested in specs and power figures like the sport bike chads on the internet, but listen up, I'm going to tell you anyway, because you don't want to end up with the carbureted lump that is still rocking drum brakes in the year of our Lord 2022. There are plenty of cruiser motorcycles that are accessible to beginners, stylish, and make enough power to not bore you after your first riding season. And if you don't want to get bored of the same stale motorcycle content on YouTube, make sure you click the notification bell on the screen to get alerted every time a new video drops from Yummy Noob. This video is brought to you by Rockform, by the way, the best choice in motorcycle phone mounts. I'll tell you more about them later in the show. Without further ado, here are my picks for the top 5 beginner cruiser motorcycles. The first motorcycle on our list is the Honda Rebel 500. The Rebel 500 is Honda's mid-sized cruiser motorcycle sitting between the 300 and 1100cc models. Honda has been making the Rebel 250, now replaced by the 300, since 1985 as a way to attract a new younger audience to motorcycling, and they did a pretty good job. Its small stature and low weight make it super accessible and non-threatening. You may have even ridden and subsequently dropped one on your MSF class, a fate bestowed upon many Rebel 250s leaving the Honda factory. Following the success of the Rebel 250 and after a few trial runs with the Rebel 450 in the late 80s, Honda began selling Rebel 500s in 2017. The 500 increased the displacement to 471 cc's in a liquid-cooled parallel twin configuration while still maintaining the easygoing geometry that younger or smaller riders have come to expect from the Rebel platform. It has a 27-inch seat height that would be great for all the short kings out there. This motorcycle makes 47 horsepower and 33 foot-pounds of torque. With a curb weight of only 408 pounds, the Rebel 500 has plenty of power for new riders who are just getting their bearings. With its 6-speed transmission and a top speed of 95 miles per hour, the Rebel 500 is comfortable on just about any street and is tasked with traversing. The additional 185 cubes in the Rebel 500 will give you a big enough bump in power to maintain your interest in usability.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All right. Have a good night, Nancy. Electric. Should I get an electric bike? An electric bike. Just like a bicycle? Like an e-bike? I can get one of those on Amazon. Should I put it on my wish list? See if someone will buy me an e-bike? Bye. Oh, someone sent me this. Someone sent me this stuff in the mail. Why do I need a fitness and nutrition? What is this? Some kind of journal. Look at this. Spoonie, why are you sending me this? How much did this cost? This is a waste of money. Planner stickers. Ooh, I like stickers. What kind of stickers are these? Oh. Oh, these are cool. Oh, I'm keeping these. They're lactose free. Booty, send me money or bitches. All right. I don't need. Stickers. I need money or bitches. All right. It's 3 stickers. But I like it. Be nice. All right. That's it. We're an hour in. Have a great night. Stay out of trouble. Be productive. Behave. All that jazz. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That's it. I don't know. I'll think about the motorcycle. I would like a motorcycle, though. All right. Everyone go over to Mosh. Queenie, behave.